Heading up Mulgrave Road again. Got to actually collect a couple of items from the post office, and it's got me beat. I bought 4 items on eBay just recently, and the first one was delivered on Monday to my door, and today for some reason Australia Post have decided that I have to go and pick up the items from the Westcourt Australia Post. It's on the way to Dan Murphy, so I'll just pick up some cheap gin up there. I'll walk up there and then get the bus back like I did. So it's a nice day. Bit of wind, unfortunately, you can probably detect, but it's a superb day up here. Couldn't complain about the weather. It's really good. So yeah, I'll have to go and pick up these 2 items. I didn't think the cargo pants would fit into the letterbox, so that's one of the items I've got to pick up. And I can't identify what the other one is. I'm hoping it's the webcam. It'd be handy to get that installed. But I'm not sure. It's just some obscure company name which means nothing to me, so I can't even identify which item it is that's turning up. So it's damn useless as an identifier, but hopefully yeah, the items will be there. It's supposed to be there till about the 15th of August. Last time I had to pick up items from there, they only held them for a few days, which is ridiculous. It was less than a week, and that's just crazy. I mean, a lot of people just couldn't make it. I did. That was when I was overseas, so it was an absolute no-go. But and it was absolutely useless information anyway. So, but. Yeah, just paperwork I really didn't need. And I was on the... So fingers crossed it'll work out well, but like I say, it's a superb day to go for a walk, and it's quite a long walk, but that's not bad. There's the old showgrounds over there, also going to be redeveloped. Big redevelopment there. So there's a bit of building work happening in Cairns, and there's talk of more apartment blocks going up, or at least hotels. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening, and as I say, that's my GP, and that's the actual pathology right there on the right hand side. There's the actual entrance to pathology, so let's get blood tests and things like that done there. So it's really handy. It's just a 5-minute walk from where I live, so I can't complain at all about that, and pretty convenient. So one thing about being up here, it's convenient. I haven't had a blackout for a couple of weeks either, which is good. It's good news. He was on the blower yesterday for about 2 hours, one hour with a friend who's actually living in Brisbane, and he actually ended up cancelling his contract to sail. Obviously it must have been in the cooling off period, because he hadn't put down a deposit, the 10% deposit, but he's gone into business with someone he knows, and part of the package is to get his own unit, a 3-bedroom unit, and he said it's a much nicer suburb. And it's also part of a job package, which is managing units in a complex, and pays pretty well, what he said. You know, so it's pretty close to a full-time pay, and but I don't think it's going to mean that much work. He's a pretty good worker. He won't mind doing a bit of work, and the only work requires a little bit of gardening and looking after the pool, and organising tradies when required. That seems to be mainly what's involved with it. So it's not. He's done high stress jobs, worked, you know, in selling data and stuff to companies and what have you, pretty cutthroat stuff. So this would be like a holiday for him anyway. But so he's also escaped Melbourne, and but he hasn't gone as far north as me. But yeah, at least I can, when I go down to Brisbane, I'm sure I'll be able to stay with him for a couple of nights, and then also catch up with Steve. But I won't do it till I finish my big trip. Just don't know how I'm going to feel about travelling when I get back. And the other person I spoke to was my cousin, and just to make it well known to her that you know, I just changed the itinerary of my trip, because I had to, because Qantas had actually made my flight a couple of hours shorter, so I decided to actually stay overnight in Melbourne. And again, I'll stay for one night with them, and she's always a good host. good cook and good host. It's always pleasant going down there. I miss having Christmas there, but it's a bit of a hassle with all the flights, booking them. It's just really difficult and expensive that time of year, so much demand. However, as I said to her, I might, if I can swing back, going back to Vietnam around December, I might be able to make it there on going one way and then going into Southeast Asia on the outgoing leg. That would work better for me anyway. And I might even take a different route back to Cairns. So see how that all goes. I've got plenty of options, no problem there. It's nice to have options in life. And yeah, still got a few loose ends with the big trip, and I've been trying to work out a good way of getting money in Spain. I mean, I could just use my my credit card and as an ATM card, but I think I'd rather have that as a backup, because the last thing I want to lose is my credit card. Then I'm pretty stuffed. So I'm making sure I have a couple of financial backups just in case things happen. I even looked at getting a bank account, in a European bank account, which you can either deal with either euros or the British pound, and there's no fees. It's sort of like the Timo account in Vietnam. It's an online account. The trouble is they're not available to Australian citizens at this stage, only for Europeans. So whereas the Vietnamese one is great. It's anyone can sign up, which is fantastic. Because what I'm looking at getting is a wire transfer set up. Get that set up for before I go, so I can actually transfer funds directly into my Timo account when I get to Vietnam. So having a bank account in a country is great, because then you can use that service, and it just minimises your charges. And it's convenient too, because I don't want to have to keep putting the money into the jaws of hell in Vietnam. And their ATM machines are very basic and scary looking things, all that metal grinding away. It looks like some sort of a knitting machine gone mad. They're not as well honed and user friendly as the ATMs in this country. So yes, so that's a minor problem, but it'd just be, it means I don't have to go to a money change. I could directly deposit my funds via the wire service, and they're actually giving decent exchange rates. So it's a much more convenient way of doing things. And then all I got to do is go into an go to an ATM to withdraw cash, which is a lot easier in Saigon. So that's really good. So especially seeing I'm going to be in District 7, that'll work out even better. So that's my plan for there. But the other, as far as travel cards is concerned, because I don't want to use my main credit card to put in the ATM machine, because there's nothing worse than having the thing being taken by the bank and then you're left without your card. And that's happening to me in Malaysia, and it's not a good feeling. So that's why I'd like to get a travel card and put cash onto that, euros. And actually I found that the ANZ card's pretty well as good as most of the other products anyway. So I'll just pop into the ANZ branch, get the travel card for to put the cash and the euros in, and do it that way. They're much better value than CommBank. They're pretty ordinary actually, because I bank with CommBank, but they're nowhere near as good as ANZ. Even though I've got issues with ANZ with their sexist policy on superannuation payments, where they give female employees $500 more than males simply for the fact that they have different genitalia. Yeah, apart from that, they have a reasonably good product there, so I'll definitely use that on the next trip. So that's all coming together. Got to do the Euro rail tickets. You can only book about 30, I think up to 60 days ahead of the tickets, and if you've got a return ticket, it means that in this case it's 30 days, because I'm going to be in Seville for a month. So it means I can only I can probably book it about now. I guess I could take the risk of just going and getting the tickets on the day, but the problem with that is I don't know, they might be booked out. But I am worried about connection, so if I miss the connection I might blow all the money on the tickets. I don't know if I could get that on travel insurance. It's like only $100 down the drain. I guess it's not going to be worth claiming anyway. But yeah, it's always a risk. I'm worried about the connections with this trip. It's my major worry, actually. Second worry is to make sure I get in contact with the people in Seville who are renting the place out, because they weren't there a couple of times. There was feedback that they had to chase them up, and that's why I want to make sure I've got a SIM card for a turn up, so I can ring them in case they're not there and get them to come to the address, because I won't feel good until I'm settled in my new place. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.